Hi there, this is Johnny Miller from Point Blank Online, and I'm here to show you some cool stuff using Ableton Live 8 and some samples from clickproduce.com. I've got here a couple of libraries in my sound library, in this case 2 folders from Primer Loops, Club Bazaar and Digitalo Disco. I'm just going to go into Digitalo Disco and have a look at what we've got. We've got bass loops, drum one-shot, so individual kicks and snares and hi-hats, and some synth loops. And I'm going to show you a really cool way to extract little sections of these loops and kind of make them your own. If I just audition some of these loops, you might come across one that's kind of ready to go, ready to use in your track, but quite often you find that you hear something that you like in the loop, but it's not quite ready to go. For instance, if I take this loop, for instance, this poppy synth, I actually really like the sounds that are contained within this loop, but the melody might not necessarily fit the vibe of the track that I want to make. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you a way to extract some of these notes and kind of create your own riffs using the sounds within the loop provided. So I'm just going to pick that loop up and drag it into an empty clip slot in Session View. And just close down my browser and double click into the clip to see what we've got. Let's play this clip. Now there are a few different ways to do this. One of the quickest ways I've found to extract sounds from loops is just to highlight a section of audio. So let's say I like this little note that's been playing here. So this little hit. What I can do is zoom in and just highlight a region of audio where that loop plays. So let's take this section here. And if I just hit Command L on my Mac, or you can right click and loop selection, that's another option. What I've got now is a single hit looped up in this clip. All I'm going to do now is right click and crop the sample. So I'm going to get rid of all the other bits of the sample that I wasn't using. And just tidy this up a little bit. I'm just going to take the very beginning of the sample. I'm going to zoom right in and make sure that the very beginning of the sample is set up. And actually I've got a transient marker here, a pseudo warp marker, where Live has picked up that that's where the loop begins. That's where the individual hit begins, the audio begins in this clip. And I'm just going to right click and set 111 here. And once more, just loop the selection and crop. So I've got this really clean now. I've got a clean start point. I've got the whole hit in this one clip. Now I'm going to go back to my browser and load up a simpler device. Now I could use Sampler for this as well. A couple of different options. And I'm literally going to take this clip, this audio clip that contains my single hit, and I'm going to drag it down into Simpler and just load up that one note into my new Simpler device. Now of course it's been renamed with the audio clip that I loaded, so in this case Poppy Synth, and with the MIDI track armed at the bottom here, I can now play this on the keyboard. I've got that individual note spanned across my keyboard. So I can now take that note and just create a new riff with it. Okay, so I can now get rid of the original loop. And this is the one that I loaded into Simpler in the first place. I can just delete that now. And let's add a beat to this. I'm going to go back into the Digitalo Disco folder and go to Drum Loops. And there's a beat I really like in here, this Miami beat. Really nice. So I'm just going to load that into Session View. And now I can take this poppy synth and start to work it into my track. Let's just bring the level down here for a second. and the level up on Poppy Synth. Okay, so I'll come up with a little simple riff there. I'm just going to record that in. Slightly different to what I first did, but there we go. So I'm just double clicked into that new MIDI clip now. And there's my riff. And I'm just going to quickly quantize this. Just make sure all the notes are nice and snappy and in time. So Command A and Command U to quantize. And I just need to correct some of this, some of my bad playing. And just finally, just make sure that my loop is exactly 2 bars long. So now I just move the end point of the loop in to the beginning of bar 3.